This is the beginning of a brand new fucking era. We are starting a cut together, and I'm going to take you step by step through the entire process, exactly how I'm planning out this calorie deficit and how you can do the same thing if your goal is to lose weight. That way you can go into this with a plan, the right mindset, and not feel super overwhelmed. We are recording this on the photo booth app of my Mac desktop, so I'm feeling very nostalgic right now. And I have my notes on the screen here so I don't miss absolutely anything, and we can put together a plan for you that's going to make this feel easy, make this feel simple, because at the end of the day, cutting is very simple. There are a few simple steps that we are about to go over to actually lose weight. It can feel a little bit overwhelming. It can feel very difficult, but it is very simple. So when you have the plan laid out for you, it's going to feel significantly less overwhelming. So when you do have harder days, you don't have to worry. The foundation is already set. Let's talk about it. A little bit of context. I just got back from Hawaii. Week and a half of eating, buffet, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinking. We got the drink package, and doing really no exercise. We went on a hike on the first day, but that was it. This week for me, after being gone for a week and a half and just going willy fucking nilly, is all about getting back on track before starting the deficit on Monday. So we're going to go over the exact step-by-step plan, how to cut, and how to go in, like I said, with the right mindset so that you don't feel overwhelmed. First things first. You hear it all the time, but we have to talk about it because it is the absolute foundation, the basis of being in a calorie deficit, of losing weight, and that is eating in a calorie deficit. That means you're eating less calories than your body burns throughout the day. So your body is pulling from stored energy to energize you as the gas that fuels your brain, your organs, your movements. So you're burning body fat instead of strictly fueling your body with food. Your body is pulling energy from the fat inside of your body. You can find your calorie deficit by using any macro calculator. You can Google macro calculator and 1 million options will pop up. There is a macro calculator inside of my app, which is always linked down in the description for you, but essentially you put in your basic info. It's going to be like your surface level stats, right? Like, how old are you? How much do you weigh? How tall are you? What's your daily average activity level? And the macro calculator is going to auto-generate and essentially guesstimate some personalized calories and macros for you that will result in weight loss. I say guesstimate because sometimes you will have to adjust these calories. I recommend waiting about 2 weeks before making any adjustments. Eating for 2 weeks consistently those macros so that you can see, is the scale moving? Anything less than half a pound per week, you should probably decrease your calories a little bit. And when I say decrease, I'm not talking a 200, 300, 400 calorie decrease overnight because the scale wasn't moving rapidly. I'm talking about maybe 100 calories at a time so that you can see week by week, are these macros working for me? For example, I was working with one of my one-on-one coaching clients, and the scale was moving, but it was slow, half a pound-ish per week, and her goal was weight loss. So we decided, okay, we see the scale is moving, but we want it to go a little bit quicker. We have goals, right? So we decreased her calories. I think it was by 40 calories. And that next check-in that we did, she lost 1.5 pounds that week. So sometimes it's just these minor changes, these micro adjustments that are going to make macro impacts long term. So I just want you to keep that in mind when adjustments do start to become a part of the conversation. Take it slow. Take it slow. So for myself, I am going to start this deficit in like a 400 calorie deficit. So that means that I'm eating roughly 400 calories less than my body burns throughout the day. A little bit of backstory. I cut for pretty much all of 2025. Like, I was in a deficit for March through December, early January this year. So truly, the majority of 2025, I was eating in a calorie deficit. And then the body dysmorphia really started to hit, okay? It really started to hit. I was probably the leanest that I've been since I was in high school. And I could not see it. I looked in the mirror and I felt huge. Like, I felt so badly about myself. So looking back now at the pictures and the videos from the time, it's very clear that body dysmorphia had me in a chokehold, okay? Like, it had me in a fucking chokehold. And it was getting to the point where I just was feeling so discouraged, and I was looking in the mirror and feeling so badly about myself and feeling like everything that I was doing was pointless. The workouts aren't working. The deficit isn't working. I'm not working hard enough. This, that. And it was just always some sort of negative feedback loop going on in my head. And I took a step back and I was like, it's time for a break. Because while I did lose about 20 pounds, I didn't reach my goal weight. I still had a couple more pounds that I wanted to lose. And I knew that if I wanted to do that, I would need to decrease my calories again a little bit. Like we just talked about, throughout the process, you're going to have to decrease your calories. Even a few months down the line, your body might adapt to the deficit that you've been in and you might see a plateau, which is what happened to me. The scale kind of stopped moving. So I knew that if I wanted to continue on this deficit and I wanted to continue to work towards that goal of mine, I was going to have to decrease again, and I was not mentally prepared for that, especially with how I was feeling mentally and feeling about myself. It was time for a break. So now I've been on a diet break for the last 7 months. It's been nice. I'm going to be honest with you, it's been very nice. I track here and there, maybe once a week, but I'm mostly intuitive eating and sporadically tracking just to kind of like sanity check, if you will, the intuitive habits. Make sure I'm not eating too much, make sure I'm not eating too little. And this is basically my way of making sure that my intuitive tendencies are on track, they're correct, that I'm not like overdoing it or underdoing it. And the break had to happen before restarting the deficit or going deeper into that deficit to reach my goal weight. After being in Hawaii for the last week and a half and really being in a bikini 80% of the time and feeling very confident in my skin, not because I'm like in the best shape of my life, but because I have been working so hard and I've been so consistent and just like taking care of myself throughout these last 7 months, shifting my mindset towards my health, future-proofing my body, towards appreciating the consistency and the hard work that this process takes instead of so much as the way that I look. My confidence has grown so much, even though I'm not in the best shape of my life. And that was a sign for me. I wanted to cut before going to Hawaii. I'm going to be honest with you. It took a lot in me the month before going to Hawaii to not enter the calorie deficit early, because I knew going into this diet break that eventually I'd be back in a calorie deficit. I still wanted to reach that ultimate goal. I still have big goals for myself. I still want to achieve the things that I set out for. And I'm the bitch that I set a goal and it's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I knew that it was going to circle back around at some point. I didn't know exactly when, but in my mind, I was gauging end of this year. So for the 90 days leading up to leaving for Hawaii, I did like a summer lock-in with the Strong Girl Summer Challenge that I hosted on the Warrior Project app. And my goal throughout these 90 days was to be consistent, to show up for myself and do the hard shit that I didn't want to do. So for me, instead of chasing physical changes like I've done so many times, I needed to chase that mental shift. So being in Hawaii and really feeling and experiencing that mentality shift, I was like, okay, I think I think it's time now. I think I can do this. So I got home and I decided that with the start of the August challenge on Monday, I am going to go into it in a deficit. I'm going to set this up so it's 85% ish, roughly approximately, of the foods that I'm eating are going to be prepped. They're going to be whole foods. They're going to be meals that are aligned with the ultimate goal. And then the other 15% is going to be like that flexible room. Sweet treats, spontaneous dinners, you know I love me some Taco Bell, and anything else that just like comes up that I'm not expecting. This is not a weekly cheat meal. Okay, and that's the next point that I want to get into. This is like a key distinction that I want to make, and I want to have like a full portion of this video dedicated to this topic because I feel very strongly about this. I see sometimes other people online will talk about how they have their clients or themselves do a weekly cheat meal. That held me back for years, especially as somebody who uses macro tracking as a way to keep me in check because I love food so much. Like, girl, I love food. I'm a bottomless pit. I can eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and not know when to stop sometimes. So for me, having that ceiling of calories really keeps me in check. So even if there's a day where I'm scheduled to eat more, it's going to be a day where I just set my macros to be higher instead of considering it a cheat meal. I cannot express to you how much that held me back. And let me actually give you the full tea on this so that you can get the perception of what this actually looks like. So for me, it was the Cheesecake Factory. Like that was kind of like the go-to place that me and my friends would go to, pretty much like a Friday ritual. I always ordered the same thing. Veggie burger, mac and cheese balls as the appetizer, and like a slice of cheesecake. And I usually honestly didn't even finish it completely, right? Like that's an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. That's like, it's so regular and so normal, right? But I was doing this every Friday. This lands me around 3,000 to 3,700 calories, depending on how much of the appetizer I shared with my friends, how much I personally ate, how much of that I was eating in one sitting, and how much I was eating later. Because even if I didn't finish it in one sitting, I would usually finish it like later in the night or like the next morning for breakfast or something. A veggie burger at the Cheesecake Factory runs about 1,000 calories with 50 grams of fat. That's almost my entire fat intake for the day. A side of fries that it comes with is about 530 calories with another 23 grams of fat. So already we are over our fat goal for the day. The mac and cheese balls, which, let's be real, I ate most of. 1,300 calories. Quick 1,300 calories, and then a slice of cheesecake, 800 calories. And that's me underselling it a little bit, right? And I would do this because Monday through Friday, girl, I was locked in. Monday through Friday, I was always so locked in. And Friday night, that was my reward. My reward for being so locked in and seeing the scale go down a couple of pounds was a cheat meal. And I would see people talking about it online, like it's regular to have a weekly cheat meal, a free meal, whatever they wanted to call it in that moment, and just go out to whatever restaurant and eat what they wanted. So then it would turn into Saturday, oh well, I already had a little something. So I may as well just have like whatever for breakfast. Like it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But then that cycle would continue all weekend. Not a big deal. One more meal, a little bit higher calorie. One more dessert. One more this, one more that. And then Monday I would wake up and the scale would spike. Back to where we started. A lot of it, yes, water weight. But it takes a couple of days to get back down to normal, to shed that water weight. So let's say Wednesday, Thursday, we're back to normal. But then the cycle repeated on Friday. So then again, Monday morning, I'm waking up, weight is spiked. So the lesson here, if you will, is one meal or even one day of eating. Let's say it's not all like I did, crazy in one meal, can put you right back at maintenance or even surplus for the week. It's really important to make sure that the deficit that you are in is a weekly deficit, not just a daily deficit. Because when we talk about being consistent, we're looking at the average over time. Not every individual day being perfect, but over time making sure that the consistency is there. So Monday through Sunday, we want that caloric intake to equate to a deficit. If Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday are perfect, but you had a 5,000 calorie meal on Friday night after eating a regular breakfast or regular lunch, you're putting yourself almost back into a surplus territory. And if it's a high fat, greasy, salty meal like I was doing, that's going to cause you to be super bloated, cause you to retain a bunch of extra water, and then result in that weight spike that I would see every Monday. And I know so many of you do too, because it's such a common thing. It's something that I wrestle with, if you will, with almost all of my clients. So being, oh my God, that scared me. That thunder was crazy. So being consistent long term and not restricting Monday through Friday because you think you need to be like super locked in. Still enjoying treats. Smarter swaps, right? So sugar-free sodas instead of full sugar, or even sugar-free creamer or syrups in your coffee. Using a protein shake in it instead of creamers or whatever in your iced coffees. I don't recommend it in a hot coffee, not my favorite thing in the entire world. But even like I have it sitting right here. Like the sugar-free Oreos, they taste pretty much the same. And you're allowing yourself to still indulge in these things, but more in alignment with your goals. So you're not fully restricting yourself. You're still having fun foods with a little bit of compromise. Because I hate to say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous, you gotta sacrifice. And this is something that a lot of people don't want to hear because they hear sacrifice and they immediately equate that with extreme restriction. But if you want to be successful and achieve a level of greatness and ultimately become this best, better version of yourself that we're always talking about, that requires real sacrifice. It requires compromises. Saying no to a night out or drinks, choosing the diet soda when everybody else is getting cocktails, choosing to bring a meal prep when you're hanging out at a friend's house instead of ordering a pizza while you watch your movie. The bigger point is really nothing great. This, like I said, the best version of yourself will not come from staying in your comfort zone and making the decisions that you've been making every day, every week that have resulted in you being where you're at right now, in staying stuck. So allowing that sacrifice to be a part of the process is kind of a requirement, not just doing what you want all the time. Unfortunately, you can't do strictly what you want when you have a goal. With that being said, making these compromises, going to a friend's house with a meal prep, there's kind of a no-win dynamic going on here. If you've ever been on a health journey in really any capacity, you've probably experienced this. So I'm talking when you go out for dinner with family and you order the burger and someone across the table says, I thought you were eating healthy. What happened? Or on the flip side of the coin, you order the salad and someone on the other end of the table goes, have some fun. Give yourself a break. We've all heard it. We've all heard it, and it can make us feel really uncomfortable with the choices that we're making. But the way that I like to reframe this is that probably just means that you're making the other person uncomfortable by showing up for yourself because they have tried and they have failed to do it for themselves. So they're projecting this insecurity on you when you are able to eat that burger because it fits into your macros. Or you order the salad because you know that it's what you need to do to achieve your goal for the day. And that is what it is. That's a part of the process as well. And I just wanted to throw that in there because it can be a really uncomfortable part of the process when it does come to making these compromises and making these sacrifices. So saying no to just have one drink. Let's share the dessert. It'll be fine. Saying no is a part of the process and continuing to show up for yourself when these uncomfortable conversations do happen. That's one of the reasons, like, I love the community inside of the Warrior Project app. We have group chats and channels and all of the things that allow for a support system of people who actually fucking get it, sharing wins and struggles and all of these experiences, because everybody inside of the app is on a fitness journey. Everybody is beginning a new era. Everybody's setting new goals for themselves, and it can be really helpful to surround yourself with like-minded people, even if it's not in the Warrior Project app, but finding communities in your gym, in group classes, and finding people who actually understand so that you don't feel alone. You are so much more likely to say no to, let's just split the dessert, just have one drink, and not give into these uncomfortable situations when you have people around you who are supporting you and not just putting you down for showing up for yourself. Now, moving on to the workouts. A lot of people think that when you are starting a deficit or you're doing a cut and you're trying to lose weight, you need to exercise significantly more. And that's just not the case. And I feel like I'm actually the perfect example. I'm going to give you a little bit of context. I am a full-time creator. I'm a business owner. I'm constantly working on these challenges. I've got, like, there's a lot to do, right? And there can be weeks, especially, that are so much busier than others. So I make it a goal to work out 3 to 4 times per week. Depending on the week, I'll throw a fourth day in there every once in a while if I have the extra time, but especially on a launch week or a week that I have more content to make, we're going 3 times a week. Maybe throw a hot yoga class in there, right? Like, we are setting a smaller exercise goal and showing up less, not, 4 or 5 times per week, just because, for the fuck of it, because I have a weight loss goal and I'm going to exercise more. No. Exercising consistently, same as being in the calorie deficit, doing it consistently instead of on an extreme level is what's going to get you those wins long term. So, I'm going to be doing in the August challenge 3 times per week. Like, that's what I'm setting for myself. The challenge itself is customizable, so the workout split is customizable based on what you need. You can pick a 3, 4, or 5 day split and choose which muscle group you want to prioritize on which days. So that's what I'm gonna do. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is most likely the situation that I'm gonna set up for myself and do like a upper body day, a lower body day, and either a cardio day or a second lower body day. To be determined. I will let you know. And then one hot yoga workout per week. That's it. That's it. I plan on doing the daily 20, of course. Of course. That's 20 minutes on the Stairmaster if you don't already know, after every gym session. So it's going to be roughly 60 to like 90 minutes of cardio total per week. Keeping it simple. So I'll be in and out of the gym in about an hour. All of the workouts in the challenges are usually less than an hour, 45 to 60 minutes. In and out of the gym in an hour, 10K steps throughout the day. A little bit harder as a girly who works from home, so this will probably result in me doing some morning walks on the beach or at the park. I really like doing them out of the house because it gets me out of the house, but on busier days that'll mean getting on the walking pad or doing like a little walk around the block after my meals to help with digestion and get some steps at the same time. So the goal isn't to force yourself to do a bunch of extra exercise and do hours upon hours of cardio per week. Like, it simply is not necessary. The number one thing is going to be the calorie deficit and adding on a little bit of exercise on top of that. If you expect yourself to do too much, you aren't going to do it at all. Or you're going to do it for a few days and you're going to burn out. So it's really important to make sure that the routines and the schedules that you are setting up for yourself are going to be something that you can do on your worst day. Period. Think about your busiest day. How long can you expect yourself to go to the gym, even if that means waking up a little bit earlier? How many steps can you realistically expect yourself to hit on a day like this? Setting your daily routines up with that bad day, that rough, stressful, busy day in mind will help you with your success long term, because that day rolls around and it's like, okay, like, I've set myself up for this. I'm so good right now. I can do it because I know that the plan that I've implemented for myself is a plan that fits into this day perfectly, basically. This is gonna be my last point. New big goals can feel very overwhelming, right? Like, that kind of has to do with what I just said. Like, it can feel very overwhelming, especially when the feed of people on social media is living are completely living different lives than you are. They have different capacities, responsibilities, schedules, routines, and they're showing you their best day. They're showing you their version of the most, all of the boxes they check off. And I think it's really important to remember that this is your own journey. You need to do what you need to do to make sure that your goals, okay, not what somebody else is doing. So it can be a little bit discouraging when you see somebody making really extreme progress, or you see that they're able to check off so many more boxes than you're able to, XYZ, whatever. But focusing on you and making sure that you aren't falling victim to comparison is huge during this process. Focus on your wins, your successes. Applaud yourself for the single pounds that you lose, even if the ultimate goal is 100. I like to do this, especially, like, I gamified the process a little bit. So in the Warrior Project app with the August challenge and all of the challenges, there are levels and badges and basically little wins throughout the entire process, so that you do feel like there are daily successes and not just the end goal, because that can be discouraging, especially if you have a big goal like losing 100 pounds. That's down the line, so it can be a little bit discouraging when there aren't tangible things that you can celebrate day in and day out. So that was a huge thing for me when putting together this new app, gamifying the process and making sure that you do feel like a success every single day, even if the scale hasn't moved. So little badges and prizes and levels, especially for my ADHD brain. Girl, I need a little bit of that external motivation to keep me going. And another thing that I do, I actually have it sitting right here, is my habit tracker. I use my habit tracker, and I pick 3 to 5 goals. 3 to 5 goals. That is it. Some of them have to do with my fitness journey and others do not. For July, I have the daily 20, my gua sha routine, reading, words of affirmation. It's my fiance's love language. It's so crazy saying fiance. That's crazy. It's my fiance's love language. Not naturally mine. And I've really struggled with it, so I've been putting a little bit more of an effort in for that. So I put it in my habit tracker to make sure that I do it at least once a day. And then getting ready for the day. Real clothes, a little bit of makeup, maybe something with my hair, not staying in pajamas, essentially. They're not all fitness related, as you can tell. And that's really the entire point, to round out my identity and growth outside of the scale to help me prevent burnout. It's that simple. It's that simple. So that's the plan. That's the plan. I will put a full PDF document in the completely free in the description for you to be able to walk this step-by-step process yourself and put your own information into it. So help you determine your deficit, help you determine your 3 to 5 habits, your workout split, what you want to do, and how you're going to be successful on your weight loss journey. Because remember, it's going to be different than mine. It's going to be different than mine. So I will put that down in the description for you. So that'll be linked along with the August challenge inside of the Warrior Project app. This is going to be all of your daily workouts, your personalized macros, the community that we talked about. You can even book a one-on-one call to get a fully personalized plan so that when you do go through this process, you feel as guided as possible. You don't feel lost, because I do know that this can be very overwhelming. Shit, I've done, I can't even tell you how many cuts at this point over the last 10 years, and I feel overwhelmed going into this, like putting this whole plan together and, starting on Monday, but I got a week to prepare, and I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed. I'm feeling a little bit nervous, especially after, what went down the last time I cut and dealing with that body dysmorphia. So if you do feel like you need a little bit extra support, I am here for you. Put that down in the description for you as well. Anything that I'm mentioning really throughout this entire video, there's going to be a bunch of resources down for you in the description so that you feel as guided as possible. But yeah, the August challenge starts on Monday, and I'm feeling so excited. It's our first official challenge back since we launched the new Warrior Project app. Our first monthly challenge back. It's Spider-Man themed. It's called With Great Glutes Comes Great Responsibility. So I'm really, really excited. I think that this is going to be really fun. And especially for me, having a new challenge every month it gives me a little bit of that external motivation that we were talking about. So I'm going to post this pretty much right now. If you have any questions or anything that you want to add that you think is important to this, please pop it down in the comment section. Anything that you have to input into this conversation or any questions that you have, you're not the only one with that question, and you might be helping however other many people watch this video. And that's the goal here, to make sure that everybody feels as this process is as straightforward as possible, because I know how fucking overwhelming it is. Anywho, I'll see you in the next video. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe, and all of the resources will be down in the description.